It is rumored that Red Bull is holding back their true potential despite an impressive start to the season with 3 consecutive victories. The word on the street is that they are trying to avoid showing their full power, as the faster they appear on the global stage, the more likely the sport will attempt to restrain them in some way. If that's the case, then Red Bull is sending a clear statement with this approach, that they are a force to be reckoned with. But they are not ready to reveal all of their cards just yet. In this video, we will explore these rumors and try to answer the question, is Red Bull holding back their true pace? And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date on everything Formula One. Red Bull has been one of the most dominant teams in Formula One over the past decade. They have won numerous races and championships, and their cars are known for their speed and agility on the track. This year is no exception. As we all know, the start of the 2023 Formula One season has been nothing short of a spectacle. Red Bull has won all 3 of the first races. Masters Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez have been leading the team, and Mercedes, Ferrari, and Aston Martin are scrambling to catch up. It's an electrifying start to the season, with Red Bull's dominance on full display for the world to see. This proves that the RB19 is an absolute engineering masterpiece. Adrian Newey and his team have outdone themselves once again, creating a car that is clearly in a league of its own in the 2023 Formula One grid. From its sleek and aerodynamic design to its lightning-fast acceleration and unmatched speed, the RB19 is a true testament to the skill and ingenuity of Red Bull. At the Australian Grand Prix, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, and their Mercedes team tried to beat Max Verstappen, who was very strong. For a while, it looked like we were in for a real battle at the front, with the 3 drivers trading blows and pushing their cars to the absolute limit. George Russell led the race at the beginning, but his chances were dashed after pitting during a safety car period that unfortunately turned into a red flag. This left Lewis Hamilton leading the race, with Max Verstappen close behind. But Hamilton was shocked when Verstappen easily passed him with a speed advantage in a straight line that left Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff dumbfounded. Verstappen's sudden burst of pace turned a 0.5-second deficit on one lap into an impressive 2.1-second advantage the very next lap. Despite the dominance, George Russell thinks that the team based in Milton Keynes is purposely hiding the full potential of their car's speed at the moment. They're worried that if they show all their cards, there could be regulation changes that might hurt their advantage and bring them closer to the other teams. So they're playing it safe for now. During the Australian Grand Prix weekend, the British driver was quoted by the BBC as saying that the Red Bull team is holding back on their car's full potential. Russell believes that the team is hesitant to showcase their true speed because they fear that the sport's regulatory bodies will try to slow them down. The driver estimates that Red Bull could have a whopping 0.7 of a second advantage over the rest of the field. Russell's comments have caused a stir among fans and competitors alike. Sergio Perez's impressive 5th-place finish from a pit lane start proves that the Bulls have been performing extremely well despite this. Now, what do you think? This might be the reason Red Bull is holding back. One idea is that they are concerned that the FIA may change the rules to prevent them from dominating. This has happened in the past with teams being penalized for being very successful. Following this, during an interview with the BBC, Max Verstappen dismissed the notion that Red Bull has been holding back their true pace. In fact, Verstappen confidently stated that even if the FIA wanted to stop them, there would be no way to do so. Verstappen explained that he and his team have been focusing on carefully managing their tires during races. This is not an uncommon strategy in Formula One, as the durability of the tires can make or break a race. By being mindful of their tire usage, Red Bull is able to optimize their car's performance throughout the entirety of the race. Verstappen's assertion that the FIA cannot do anything to stop them from performing at their best is a bold claim. Moreover, it is not unfounded. The FIA regulates the sport, but it cannot dictate how each team should race. As long as Red Bull adheres to the rules and regulations set forth by the FIA, they are free to race however they choose. On the other hand, Christian Horner, the Red Bull team boss, diplomatically argued that Hamilton's mistake exaggerated Verstappen's instant lead. But as we've seen in the first two races, the Red Bull car can have a big advantage in the race itself, which is not the case in qualifying. In Melbourne, Verstappen had only qualified for pole position by a couple of tenths, but he knew he had a fast car and could afford to be conservative at the start. After overtaking Hamilton, Verstappen's pace surged, and he showed his competitor just how much pace he had in reserve with 2 laps that were 0.5 and 0.75 seconds quicker, respectively. From then on, Verstappen was in cruise control, and he pulled away by around 0.4 of a lap on average after a mid-race virtual safety car period, moving 11 seconds clear of the battle for second place. He only made a brief mistake under braking at the penultimate corner, sending his Red Bull briefly off track. Verstappen wasn't interested in pushing the hard tires. He just wanted to manage them to the end due to the uncertainty brought by the rain-disrupted long runs on Friday. Christian Horner also explained that there is always some element of management involved in any race. He also pointed out that Sergio Perez, the other Red Bull driver, had to work hard to make his way through the field in the race, which indicates that the RB19 car does not have as big an advantage as some people may think. There could be many reasons for Red Bull's success, such as the fact that their car is better for racing than qualifying, that they can change how they use their energy, that they use their tires better, and that their competitors have trouble in dirty air. Additionally, it's possible that the Red Bull drivers are holding back a little bit because they don't need to drive at full capacity at the moment. Horner also cited Perez's struggles during the weekend as further evidence that Red Bull isn't holding back intentionally. Although Perez was able to make up ground in the race, he struggled to do so quickly, indicating that the car may not be as dominant as some suggest. Also, Perez seemed to be uncomfortable in the car all weekend, which suggests that his struggles rather than the car's potential limited his performance. Horner overall suggested that it's not uncommon for teams to hold back their true performance potential, as Mercedes did in 2014. This caution is understandable, given that F1 stakeholders have been known to change the rules in an attempt to prevent one team from becoming too dominant. So there is another argument that if Red Bull held back, then they would risk losing races. Given how fiercely competitive Formula One is, any team that is not giving it their all runs the risk of losing out to their rivals. It seems unlikely that Red Bull would risk losing races just to keep their true pace a secret. So, what's the verdict? Are Red Bull holding back their true pace? It's hard to say for sure. There are arguments on both sides, and ultimately, we won't know the answer until we see more races. For now, it's worth remembering that Red Bull is a top team with a talented driver in Max Verstappen. They have won 2 races this season and are currently leading the championship. It's possible that they are just that good. Red Bull, on the other hand, will definitely do everything they can to keep their lead throughout the season. As always, these comments and speculations only add to the excitement and intrigue of this thrilling sport. However, the competition is far from over. Mercedes, Ferrari, and other teams will be working hard to catch up to Red Bull's pace. The anticipation and excitement for this season are already palpable, and we can't wait to see how the rest unfolds. What do you think? Who is winning this season? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and let's get the discussion going.